Professor Sivananthan is a College of Liberal Arts and Science Distinguished Professor and Director of the Microphysics Lab at the University of Illinois. He is also the founder of the high-tech Bell Lab-style incubator, Sivanandan Labs, based in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Born in the humble part of it, born in Chavakacheri, Sri Lanka, Professor Sivanandan is a world-renowned physicist as well as a successful entrepreneur in creating advanced military infrared night vision technology, which has also served as a platform for groundbreaking next-generation solar cells. EPIR business started with a focus on developing infrared materials for the US military and on cutting-edge research for the defense industry in infrared imaging technology based on mercury cadmium telluride. The same technology that formed the basis of EPIR's breakthrough success in infrared imaging technology now forms the foundation for EPIR development of a revolutionary new photovoltaic cells. Professor Siva graduated from University of Peradeniya in 1980 with a bachelor's degree in physics. After graduating, he lectured at Eastern University in Sri Lanka before joining the University of Illinois in Chicago in 1982 for postgraduate study, and he obtained a master's degree and a PhD in 1988 from Illinois. In May 2013, Professor Sivananthan was awarded the Champion of Change, Immigrant Entrepreneurs and Innovators category offered by the White House. He was awarded the Vidya Nidhi in 2017, an honor given by the Sri Lankan government. In 2010, he was elected a Fellow of the American Physical Society for seminal contributions to growth technology in the photovoltaic cells. His mission in life has been always to give his best to his family and friends, his students, his research, his business, his country, and the world at large. I think he's in Chicago. I think it's about 5 o'clock in the morning there. So, Professor, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Let me tell you a story about an amazing man I met about a dozen years ago. Sivananthan grew up in a small village in Sri Lanka, the 6th of 9 children. His parents were both teachers. He had an auntie who taught physics. Until he was 8 years old, Siva's family lived in a home with no electricity. When you can't flip a switch or turn a knob and produce heat or light, you get inventive. As a young boy, Siva would ask questions like, I wonder how we could use the sun's light to boil water. After college, Siva knew that he wanted to come to America. He'd heard great things about the physics research being done at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. And he knew the University of Chicago was a world-renowned school. So he was thrilled to receive a scholarship offer from the University of Illinois at Chicago. He discovered that the school he had chosen was neither UIUC nor U of C. It was an entirely different school. And back then, 1982, UIC didn't have a large physics department. But then an amazing chain of events began to unfold. That first year he was at UIC, the physics department received a sizable grant from DARPA to conduct research on infrared sensors. Within a short while, Dr. Siva was not only in the department, he was heading this department. His research focused, among other things, on advanced infrared detectors and low-cost, ultra-high-efficiency solar cells. It's the same question he asked as a boy: how to use the sun to create energy. In addition to teaching and mentoring young scientists, Dr. Siva has founded and runs a number of companies that are working to commercialize his discoveries. He's also founded a program called INSPIRE. INSPIRE brings together physics students from UIC and veterans from the war in Iraq and Afghanistan to teach high school kids. He's received too many awards to list, but I'll name one. In 2013, he was named a White House Champion for Change. That honor recognizes immigrant entrepreneurs from around the world who make America better, creating jobs and making our nation more competitive.
With that, I'm going to just quickly go through it, talk about a little bit of myself and what I believe, what the opportunity I had, and I hope every children of Sri Lanka will get the same. Before I even start, I'd like to mention I am a product of Sri Lanka. The foundation of what I received in Sri Lanka, Jaffna Hindu College, Perdenia, it's really made who I am. Of course, United States helped me to nurture and let me grow with everything I have. And I definitely will give my life for. The teachers in Sri Lanka, it's very unique. I haven't seen it in any part of the world. They dedicate themselves, their life, and their suffering to make a difference in their students' life. I know directly, my mom and dad, both teachers. She has 9 kids. Wake up in the morning, 4 o'clock. I learned the habit from her. And make us food and make sure that we are educated. At the same time, she runs on time and dedicated a lot of her life to make a difference at her students. So it is very unique to Sri Lanka. And as I go through it, I think that's what it's going to make Sri Lanka as a strong technological hub in the Indian Ocean. Yeah, just quickly, I thought I'll mention a few words about my pathway, but I couldn't initiate that without especially thanking my professor, Lakshman Disanayaka, who was at the Perdenia, who has guided me all along, even now, to succeed and also make a difference in people's life. And also Srimali Fernando, who 12 years ago reminded me that, Siva, I'm so happy that you are successful, but then what are you going to do for you, the land you are born and your motherland? Well, here I am. See, basically my lab is on a cutting edge technology for infrared. My foundation was from Sri Lanka because we are very good. I learned physics and math very strong and individually, but I learned a lot of interdisciplinary skill when I landed in the University of Illinois at Chicago. It basically, if you look at the camera, we go through every aspect of the part here. There is electronics, there is software inside, there is a sensor inside, there is a cooling system inside, and also the lens and heat sealed and everything. There are so many things goes into a simple camera, just like human life, like medicine you can think of. What really made me successful because I had the opportunity to have a cross-discipline exposures. I was able to work with the electronic engineers and computer scientists, chemists, and industries. Based on that, I was able to develop a camera which is compact in so many ways and make it cheaper and cheaper. If one wants to know what has been my life, is just infrared cameras which can see in the dark. These are a few of the stuff from my own camera. There is one product it's launched by Japan as part of the NASA, the space program, to basically look at the formation of supernova, and of course the cameras which I work very closely with the US defense industry so that you can see through the dust. What really makes it different, if you look at it, these two pictures that I'm going to summarize it fast and leave. And if you look at the top picture, you see the visible. There's a fire, you can't see anything. And they have near infrared technology which is available, which is very close to be visible, but somewhat dim, and you don't see anything. If you look at here, the corner where extended SWIR, extended short wave infrared camera, that's what I do. If you can look at it, you can see all the fire spots in the pictures. You know where the fire origin is, therefore firefighters can easily, just make sure that they can put off the fire. On the bottom, you can see I think it's a picture in Arizona. These are all our guys took the pictures, visible in a cloudy day. You don't see much of a sky when you go to the near infrared, NIR. You see the skies, but if you look at the skies, it's not as black as possible. But when you go to the extended SWIR, you can see it's pitch dark. You can see what's on the sky quite easily. I mean, it could be the stars, it could be the satellites, or it could be some drones floating around. So that was possible in my view, because even though when I started, I had this strong physics and math background. I had an opportunity at the University of Illinois to expose myself to interdisciplinary programs. I learned the electrical engineering course from an electrical engineer, not by a physicist. I learned the chemistry from a chemist, and I learned the physics from the physicist. I think it's very important we have curriculum which are really taught by and trained by people who are the experts. That was an eye-opener for me. And then as I worked my way together, I was able to cultivate students who has gone over 40 PhD students so far, working on large defense industries and First Solar, which is the largest solar manufacturer in United States. And that's also possible because I was able to, I had that opportunity as a professor to innovate and incubate small industries, EPIR at that time, which with help, and then the innovation, we were able to transfer it to large companies which are focusing on manufacturing and making sure the current needs are satisfied. And so you need basically have the passion, and persistence and the belief. Once you have that, then you need to work with team so that you can achieve it. Education, training, innovation, and making sure these things are transferred into an industry to make a difference in people's lives. So why am I mentioning all these things? I think I wish, and I'm pretty sure under the leadership of our current Minister of Education, the STEM focus is going to make a difference in Sri Lanka. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, they are all together, hand to hand. They need to work together. The modern technology cannot work without you cannot be a physicist not knowing the technology. You cannot be a math and not knowing the fundamental behind it and then successful. STEM education is a very key to the success. It's for the economy. We need to feed the future, the STEM education and long-term strategy to increase living standard and technology advances will require coordinated effort to drive innovation. Coordinated. What I mean by that is different departments. Bring the walls down, different departments working together to make a difference in people's life. As we think it through, every rupees we spend is coming from the citizen of Sri Lanka. And how do you make a difference? Education and interdisciplinary approach are vital to the country. Increase pathways. What do I mean by that? Quite often in our structure, when you are on the O level, 10th grade, 11th grade, you kind of reach a situation, at least a lot of people in my class those days felt, if they couldn't go to the 12th grade, they assume that they are a failure. But we need to create this, not a failure. They are better on something else. Therefore, we need to create a pathway for them to excel. I was an average student. I was a B student at Jaffna Hindu College. I had to take the advanced level for the second time to get into science degree. As a lot of people in Sri Lanka knows, if you are very good, you get a chance to go to the engineering, or medicine. And then if you are the second, you go to the physics. Thank God I got into physics. I would have been a failed engineer. That's not who I am. I'm a scientist by heart. I'm a physicist by heart. I had that opportunity. I was lucky. But I hope we can increase a pathway for the children of Sri Lanka, an alternate pathway without making them feel that if you couldn't go to advanced level, you are a failure. Strength talent pipelines, create a different pipelines of training. Solar panel installers, right? And algorithm developers. They don't need a bachelor's degree to do all those things. I have people in my company who don't have it, and they're doing phenomenal job. I will show you some of the data soon. Coordinate education and training together. Education. Let's not consider vacation means vacation. Education should be passed by a training to make a difference in people's life. Cultivation of innovation. Being able to allow the younger generation think out of the box, right? And always accept that they could be right and we could be wrong, and equip workers with modern skills and training. With that, I think Sri Lanka can achieve. It's currently one of the issues which every country faces, and US also faced it. There's a science, technology, engineering, math, then there's an economic development, which is really the need to make the people's life better, prosperity of the citizens. How do we build this bridge? How do we make sure that STEM education, they work with the real people, farmers, small businesses, and the big businesses. That link, that bridge is critical for any country to succeed. The training and making sure that Sri Lanka has the necessary people to support high-tech manufacturing is a key that achieved by an interdisciplinary approach and interacting with the small business and others. let's build a bridge to pass the death valley. And with that saying, I really wanted to give my story in Sri Lanka. And as I said, 12 years ago, Professor Sri Fernando, phenomenal leader who wants to make a difference in the technology development in Sri Lanka, reached out to me, and I went and gave a talk. And that's when actually I left in '82, and then I came back after a long time. And I had a phenomenal experience. I was definitely surprised with the leadership she had and the difference people want to make, and simply said, Siva, what are you going to do for Sri Lanka, your birthland? And so I thought it through and discussed with my professor and mentor, Professor Lakshman Dissanayaka. And we said, okay, I think Sri Lanka can be a solar hub, and I think we can do it. But then I went to the universities, talked to University of Peradeniya, Jaffna University, Kelaniya, and Ruhuna, and we said, let's start with educating the troops at the university level, because from the university professors and teachers are dedicated to make a difference. They really feel happy when one of their students is so successful. That's what makes them happy. How do we use that to make sure it has an economic development to the country? So we talked about it, and then we came out with a program to I call it training. Just take the university, make sure they work with the high school, and train the 10th grade people to start becoming installers. At the same time, start building a research facility to build the scientific and research knowledge base in Sri Lanka. And of course, then I will talk about the Feed the Future, which is, Sri Lankan culture, Sri Lankan people as a whole has everything it's necessary to make it happen. They needed a little bit of support, and with that, I think they will excite. Yes, there are times Sri Lanka fell down, but as Mom said, let's get up, dust yourself, start walking. Let's not think on the back mirror, but let's think forward. And I think country with the current leadership can make it happen. So for that, I think we need to continue to Sri Lanka, make Sri Lanka as a renewable hub. We started with the hydro in 60s. We were there, we were thinking about it. Now it didn't stop. If we were able to do the hydro, we should be able to do the renewable solar. Yes, we need to figure out how to make sure that we don't have the surge in the grid. But we need to take the next step. Sri Lanka missed the chip manufacturing, electrons to electrons. All the other countries are advanced and move forward. We will be doing a catch-up job. Sri Lanka will be doing a catch-up job. But we could go to the next step in the sensors, proximity sensors. Everything is going AI, automation, robotic. You need sensors. And algorithm development. I am very confident Sri Lanka has a shot at it, and it should give it. So I think to be part of the next generation of technology revolution means leverage existing skill. Give the chance for the teachers to make them feel good. They want to make a difference in every single student's life. That's what they are dedicated for. It is a unique quality of the Sri Lankan teachers which shows up on literacy of the country. And develop new sensors, new algorithm, and I think country would be, in my view, a pearl, technological pearl in the Indian Ocean. Just to give the story, I mean, yes, I came in 1912. I was definitely trying to figure out since I left in 1982. It's 30 years from now. I left when I was 25. I'm coming back when I was 55. But what I thought is let's bring experts from US. The beauty of the United States is wants every country successful. They have the knowledge base which they want to share to the prosperity of the global society. So I came in, I talked to the folks at US National Renewable Energy Lab, and I think we had about 5 seminars to basically start making awareness current trends, and we talk about, then finally, I think we had in Kelania, the Need Their Science and Applications conference, and we talk about. So after 5 years, this is where I got a chance to meet the Honorable Minister Premajanta, who is dedicated to make a difference. I always tell he's a voice of the voiceless. And I talked to him, hey, we have this opportunity, great, what can you do? And he said, what do you want? I want to create a edu training program which can really build the research foundation for solar in the universities while reaching out to the high school teachers and 10th graders and working with the NITA and other renewable energy organizations to produce trained solar installers. Yes, obviously, it would be nice to have the manufacturing, but manufacturers will come when we have the manpower to do it. And he passed through with the support of our current president, then the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, through the Parliament program, we call it EDI training program, started in 2018, where it's required people, the faculty members, university professors, to work with the high school teachers, train the trainers, and then directly deal with the high schools to create an awareness while developing an R&D on solar fabrication. Because it's critical to know the solar cells. Believe it or not, the program was started in 2018. In 4 years later, they have graduated people. It's a great success story. Keep in mind, we had 3 years of COVID shutdown. Nothing stopped them. They had graduated with diploma people who actually pretty much got the job, or they were in the job while working on it. So it can do it. Sri Lanka has it. It can be the modern technology hub in the Indian Ocean. I really, myself and Minister Premajanta, we visited Oregon National Lab before the COVID, and Oregon National Lab in Chicago the director was ready to support training engineers who are working on the power industry to help them understand the grid issues really when you connect the solar. As I said, when you have the solar power, suddenly monsoon rain comes, it covers, there's a surge. So we need to balance the system. I hope this program continues, expand, and also will build on storage. How do we store it? These are the issues need to be addressed, but I feel that there is solution and Sri Lanka will do it. With that, I would say, for the future, I think focus on robust sensor and algorithm program. It's doable. I had no issues, and I do believe that Sri Lanka can do it. And let's develop the sensors to help the poultry farmers, or develop the sensor, use this solar power panels to help the soya beans farmers. And we had quite a bit of discussion, University of Illinois, about a campaign in the has established a soya bean research consortium, which is focusing on Bangladesh and some of the African countries, and it really was pushed through my friend Senator Durban. And I had talked to them, and they really want Sri Lanka as part of, want to be involved with Sri Lanka. So, and image processing, I mean, if you need is, yes, people will say we may need a very high quality computing system to get all this data and down. It's not true. If you look at it, people in the microscope, physics and chemistry department, they developed technology, algorithm, to be able to understand the pictures they are taking of the semiconductors or chemicals and others. The same technology can be applied by downloading some of the images. It's available in internet. And if you look at it, the difference between, we took 1% of the data randomly and recreated the image. If you look at the first 100% and next 1%, you don't see the difference. So can we think differently? Can we take a cheap camera coming out with a good algorithm to, create a three-dimensional pictures? For example, we had a project, it's a burn triage. If you have a soldier has a burn in a certain areas, you don't want to airlift them unless otherwise it's needed. Can we have a simple camera, take a 30-second video, recreate it, so that you can see whether the burn is deep or not? So many technology can really be developed with a simple sensor system. People may think that we need a very expensive cameras. No, there are cheaper alternatives for these applications, and Sri Lanka can do it. So I think in conclusion, real life application of swan sensors, algorithm, here we go. We can apply, have the drones flying around and make sure that you only feed the fertilizer places where you need and use a chemical in places where it's needed. It's good for environment. And same thing with the poultry farm. Can we use a feed from here? Can we develop the sensors to help this, help basically making sure that if there is a flu or bird flu and all the issues, sickness, can we do that? So I think there are so many things can be done. Definitely a focus of sensors and science definitely can help the poultry and also soybean fields, and the algorithm definitely is going to make sure that it can be done in a very cost-effective way, and it will feed, as I said, 1 egg per day for the children will probably satisfy their nutrition need. Same thing with the soya can be a good alternative for protein products. So with that, I'm going to conclude. I think STEM and edu training are a vital component for Sri Lanka, and it has taken the necessary step under the current leadership to make it happen. Utilizing a variety of skill set. We cannot be just basically boxed into one set. We need to bring those walls down. We need to really utilize a multiple skill set to the best way to catalyze the economic and social net. Flexibility is key. And the government and stakeholders provide flexible project-based funding to allow the creativity and innovation to shine. As I always looked at myself, I learned more from my failures, and I rarely learned much from my success. Failure is not a failure if you really learn from it. we can really test ourselves and move forward. Sri Lanka has everything it needs to be the technological hub of the Asian region while being completely renewable. We have the leadership, and I'm very honored to be claimed that I am a Sri Lankan American. Thank you.